Hello and welcome to the GPTV St Kilda and Bayside report for the month of September. My name is Phillip Kingston.
And I'm Jeremy Rosens.
And Jeremy, it's been a while since I've done this report with you.
It's been a couple of goes I've had. We don't do it a lot, Phil.
No.
But, I think we've had a few letters in from the viewers. They just wanted a fresh approach for spring.
And I am your
You are the fresh approach.
Have you noticed I've got a bit of a tan today?
You're looking a little bit sun-kissed, as they say.
Well, that's what happens when springtime hits, Jeremy, and the sun is coming down at you full bore, and there's only so far the 50 plus will go. And I had the 50 plus on.
Did you have your hat on, your little bowler's hat?
You know what, I looked for the hat on, particularly on Sunday, because it was a bit of a scorcher on Sunday.
Yeah.
I looked for the hat, couldn't find it, but I did an auction in Glen Ira Road for Lamore from your office.
Yes.
And Simon Radolnik from our office was there. And because he's completely bald, and he's a good looking guy, just for the record,
Just
for those
bald.
of you that want to look on our website to see who Simon Radolnik is, good looking man, but completely bald. So he had an umbrella up, which was a kind of very Japanesey approach to our auctions. And he stood there with the umbrella to shield him. I dragged him beside me so that I could get some of that shade. And I thought, that's a good idea. You've got to be sun smart this spring and this summer.
You just wear a hat, you don't need an umbrella.
No, but I thought it was quirky.
You should get a Gary Pierre branded little...
Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to find a really good-looking young woman or a really good-looking young man.
Are we still talking about hats?
No, this is kind of, I'm getting into the groove of the St Kilda report.
Yes.
Bit of a shout out to good-looking young men or good-looking young women. I'm looking for somebody to work alongside me this spring and summer, being my umbrella holder to shelter me, my beautiful skin from the sun.
Yes. I think what we should do, Phil, is just talk a little bit about real estate.
You asked me on the show.
Yes, we've possibly lost a few viewers already, Phil.
Unless you guide the direction of this show, I'm just going to talk about me.
All right, Phil. Well, let's just go back a little bit, a step back in time and talk about some of the sales that have happened in the last month or so, because it was a busy month for Gary Pierce and Kilda.
How good is your office doing? It is just on fire.
Well. They're going well. The team is very in sync and really kicking some big goals.
And a bit of a scoop, viewers. The St Kilda office is going so well, we're actually run out of desks. So we're currently looking
for desks.
No, we're not looking for desks. We're looking for a new building. So that's a problem that we never envisaged having when we set that office up, which is only now, coming on 3 years?
Almost, no, it's coming on 4.
Coming on 4 years.
Yeah.
We thought we'd be in that office forever.
Yep.
But we've got down to our last desk, which means we're looking for a new building. So viewers, if you've got a building in the Inkerman Road area, we're looking for a new building.
Something
Bayside. Pretty
Bayside.
exciting, isn't it?
Phil, let's start at the top because we did an auction. We talked about an auction last time in Hammerdale Avenue.
Yes.
Apartment 4, number 2, Hammerdale Avenue in St Kilda East. Beautiful older style 3-bedroom apartment. Competitively bid for. We thought we'd get interested of $630 to $690.
Yep.
Eventual selling price well in excess of that figure, $761,000.
Let's just explore that for the viewers.
Yep.
A 2-bedroom apartment. It's a small block.
It's a 3-bedroom, but it was a block of 4.
Yeah.
No parking with that either.
Yeah, and that's really an interesting thing to note, that it was 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. If we had a property without parking, you'd get punished in the marketplace.
No one would turn up.
Today, it's interesting. You have a chat with people that are sub 30. And they're all talking about, the fact that they can Uber, or they can hire a car on the weekend. A car is a depreciating asset for so many people.
Indeed it is.
If the property is walking distance to public transport or cafes and shops, we've got a whole new generation of buyers coming through saying, okay, as long as the apartment's great, don't need a car space.
Yep.
Uber is the way of the future.
Yes, and you could probably tell us a little bit about Uber in a moment's time, Phil. Not now, because I believe there was a photo of you in Uber.
Yep.
So we'll talk about that in a moment's time. Anyway, after that Hammerdale auction, I went down to Chapel Street and was lucky enough to do an auction there at number 3 at 89, which you had a bit to do with. Michael Jonas and Daniel Fisher, the selling agents there. Again, a great vibe, a great older style apartment with loads of bidders and some great competition. Eventual selling price, $610,000. Again, a 2-bedroom with no parking.
I think there's a theme that's coming through though, isn't there? And viewers, those of you that are thinking about an investment in particular, the older style apartments tug at the heartstrings of buyers on auction days.
They do.
Much more than just the standard run-of-the-mill apartment. So if you can find yourself an older style apartment, and one of the best parts about having an office in St Kilda is between St Kilda East, St Kilda, and obviously into Elwood, there are so many of these Art Deco apartments.
There are indeed.
And they just go brilliantly well, which is probably the segue.
It's a good segue, Phil. I thought about that.
Yeah, the segue to talk about where we are.
Let's talk about where we are.
Take me through this incredible apartment.
We're in apartment 3 at number 35 Robe Street in St Kilda, Phil.
Yep.
Now, Robe Street is probably one of the best known streets in St Kilda.
Yes.
It's right where the action is. At one end you've got Barclay Street, the other end you've got the beach of Grey Street, not Barclay, but it does end up near Barclay. This, Phil, is one of the best apartments that you'll find. Again, it ticks all the boxes. Older style apartment, beautiful polished timber floors, great layout, separate lounge, separate dining, and a price range, I've got to tell you, that is fastly, or is that even a word?
Fastly?
Yeah, can you say that?
Definitely not, but now just go with it.
We'll just say that he's fast becoming something from yesteryear. We're expecting interest north of 700 here. You don't like that word, fastly. Well, we'll never use that again, fastly. But this is a great apartment. Block of 4, beautiful views. You can see from that window the bay, you can see the treetops, the whole bit. It ticks all the boxes.
Do you know what I'm loving about this building? First of all, it is the older style. And
beautiful
the polished timber floorboards are great, but having a lounge room and a dining room and a separate kitchen is extraordinary. But the garden area is at the back. You know, I can just imagine some barbecues happening where you start with your friends, but apartment owners and their friends might just drift into that space.
Well, it is St Kilda,
which has got that St Kilda vibe. I want to just talk about Robe Street because I smile when I talk about Robe Street, because Robe Street started life as being one of the most prestigious streets in St Kilda when this area back in the late 1800s was first developed. It was the prestigious street. Then, you know, for decades it became a street with a reputation.
Yes.
And I don't mind talking about drugs and prostitution.
No, you don't,
this was the street that was the go-to street. But over the last 10 to 15 years, it's revived and become again the go-to street.
It's very hip.
For beautiful living. So I love the history to this street. I love the fact that this street's gone through a mixture of uses.
Yes.
But it's done the full circle and it's become again what it started off life being one of the best streets in Melbourne. So Robe Street, what a great address, what a great apartment.
11th of October, Phil. 11th of October, going under the hammer at 11:30 a.m. I'm having the lucky privilege of marketing this with my colleague Daniel Mickmacher, so please come on down because we're open for viewing any weekend.
Do you know, Gary and I reminisce about, because we started our career, as you well know, in Ackland Street. 43 years ago now? No, not quite that long ago, but we loved operating in St Kilda, and we're kind of half jealous of you running our show in St Kilda because, you know, you get to deal with interesting architecture, interesting properties, great streets, a melting pot of the community, and the people. There's so many interesting people in St Kilda.
There are, Phil. You're welcome to come down any time.
Yep.
But we did actually wheel you out for an auction not so long ago.
Wheel me out? What is that, out of the nursing home, is it?
You know, you get 9 in age, so we took you down to Bendigo Street in Elwood, Phil.
Viewers, the big question is, who is older, me or Jeremy? Have a good look at screen now and just have a look at the crow's feet around his eyes.
I should get a bit of Botox before we start this show. If I were you, I wouldn't be squinting too much with the crow's feet.
I'm trying to hold that down now. Yeah. Anyway, characteristics, they're character lines.
Yeah, we often get told that we look similar. I actually got told that I look like you from behind, and then she came closer to me, this lady, and she said, "But you're a bit larger." So I'll take it as big bones, like my mother always tells me.
You've got a big frame. Generous frame.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the script here, Phil, because Bendigo Street...
We've got a script.
Well, we're following something quite loosely, but anyway.
That's what happens. You invite me to do the show, you're going to run over time.
And you know what? I said last time we shouldn't do it.
Never again.
Bendigo Street, block of 10. Remember that apartment? That block?
Do.
That auction? Fiery auction?
Yep.
Good result. Unfortunately, the viewers, we can't say what it sold for because it was undisclosed, but it was a competitive auction. I don't even know whether we can even give them a clue.
Look, we can't, but let's just be clear and say to the viewers, getting a block of 10 apartments under $3 million is impossible.
Yep.
What a great address. And viewers, you might be interested to know that Gary Peer & Associates has sold more blocks of flats on one title than any other agency in Melbourne, to the best of my knowledge. It's a bit of a specialty of ours.
It is indeed.
And they are a dwindling commodity because most of these blocks get sold to developers that strata title them, separate the titles, sell them off individually.
Yep.
So they are a increasing rarity, and that makes them fabulous investments.
But if you do have a block, let us know, because we've got a few coming up as well, and we might talk about that next time, because we've got one coming up in St Kilda. Anyway, the Elwood trend continued, because after that we went to 203 Brighton Road, another beautiful older style apartment. Again, no parking, but a courtyard garden to die for, Phil. Competitive auction there again, sold $735,000. A great price and a beautiful apartment on the corner of Scott Street. Interesting
article in the Age newspaper a couple of weeks ago about the value of a courtyard. Because I can't remember the address of the property, and it wasn't in our area, but it was an example where an apartment had sold a few months ago for, call it $400,000, which it was, I think, a 2-bedroom apartment with a car park, but no courtyard. Then last weekend, a same apartment in the building, not the same, a different apartment in the building, exactly the same as the other one, but had a courtyard, sold for $450,000. So the question is, what is the value of a courtyard? And I've gut feel would have thought that a courtyard can add anywhere from kind of $30,000 to $60,000, $70,000 to the value of an apartment.
And look, a lot of it depends on the size of the courtyard, the size of the block. But I think 30,000 as a base is probably about right.
But
and we didn't practice that before either.
If it's a larger one, significantly more.
You would think so.
Moving on, what's next?
Dickens Street, 853. You did the auction there. Apartment number 1 at 21A. Another great Elwood address and a great Elwood auction.
And a shout out to Lamore from your office, who is the queen of that building. She's
almost the queen of Elwood.
She loves those 60s apartments, and she just does a great job with them. And that was just a runaway train of an auction.
And also a big shout out to Limor and Joseph, who have had, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, one of their better months on record. They've just made a lot of sales.
As in September or August?
August.
August.
Great. And she was a bit stiff to not win the salesperson of the month, which she reminds me of. But don't worry, Limor, there'll be plenty more opportunities for you in the future. But she's had a great month, so good on her. Nikki and Limor, so the powerhouse female connection from Gary Pearce and Kilda, they got together to sell number 20 Sycamore Grove in St Kilda East. I think you did the auction there. This is a beautiful sort of 18-month-old double-storey home. Beautifully done, really nicely decorated, beautifully laid out, a great floor plan. Again, a competitive auction. I'm not quite sure whether we can disclose the price here, but again, I think it's fair to say that in East St Kilda for a house like that, it's difficult to find them under, let's say, under $2 million probably.
Okay, well, just to clarify that, whilst the price is undisclosed, the reality is, who would have ever thought that $2 million plus is what you required to buy into that part of East St Kilda. That part of East St Kilda is just flying, because it's underpinned, of course, by being between Glen Ira Road, Rip and Lee.
Which is a
gorgeous little village. It really is a village. And then, of course, on the other side of it, we've got Carlisle Street. So that little block has shops, cafes, restaurants,
transport,
tram line in Carlisle Street, and 2 train stations being the Rip and Lee and Balaclava. So
bus.
No wonder that area, that's a hot spot. I still think it's undervalued, viewers. So if you want to look in that area bounded by, say, Chapel Street to Hotham Street, and from Carlisle Street down to Brighton Road, hot spot, big recommendation of mine.
Well, a good result there, Phil. We're competitively bid for as well. There was a number of other sales. Number 1, Talbot Avenue, went to auction. Isn't yet sold, still available, viewers. This is a great home, good parcel of land in East St Kilda.
Big land and a glamorous home.
It won't be around for long.
No, it's faded today, the home, because it hasn't been renovated, but gee, we've seen houses like that just have a transformation. So, still available.
And that was the month that was, Phil, but let's look over yonder. Let's look to the future, because spring is in the air.
Don't be yesterday's man, Jeremy, be tomorrow's man. And when you've spent a week in Silicon Valley like I have, which was incredible.
Maybe we should take the time now to talk about
Show a couple of photos. There's me at Google. There's me at Uber. Also went to visit Google.
Yes,
sorry, I just said that. So it was Google, Airbnb, Salesforce, and...
I think you may have been the first
Google,
person.
Airbnb, Salesforce, and Uber. It was unbelievable, and I'm just buzzing. The world is an amazing place.
I think the photo of you at Google, which has already flashed on the screen, you, I believe, unveiled accidentally Google's new emblem. Is that correct?
So there was a world scoop. Completely, they said, of course, please don't take photographs.
That's like waving a red flag to a bull.
Just asking to take me on, right? So I, of course, had my photograph taken under the Google sign, and we'd wondered why all of the scaffolding was right round the Google campus with all of these Google signs being changed over. And we just thought, oh, they're changing the sign, no big deal. But yes, I did unveil on Facebook to the world that Google had a new logo that day.
Yeah, you should probably write that. You should call for a check for the advertising.
Yep.
Mind you, they'll probably start to call you for your checks.
What an amazing experience that was, Jeremy. The world is only going to get better and better as the geniuses in the new disruptive industries are just changing the world for the better.
It's almost unfair to call them disruptive. I think that they're moving the world forward at a very quick rate.
Well, I think disruptive in the Valley is used as a compliment.
Nice term, yes.
Yeah.
Phil, let's talk. We talked already about the future. Let's talk about 429 Inkerman Street in St Kilda East, because we're going to go backwards there.
Glamorous
house. There's a beautiful older style home there, this one.
Yep.
So this one's going to auction on the 27th of September this weekend, 10:30 a.m. Adam Josky, Joel Sir will be marketing that. I've got the privilege of doing the auction there. And hopefully, if you're around, buyers, get down there, because a beautiful period home, double fronted Edwardian. And to say that they don't build them like this anymore, as much as it's a cliche, but it is true when we talk about Inkerman Street.
And come out to our auctions on the weekend and sample a coffee from our new coffee van. So a bit of a shout out. I'm going to show the coffee van because we've got a bit of an art shot now.
Yep.
An art shot there of the coffee van with the graffiti in the background. But we're loving this coffee van. And shout out to Las Chicos in Carlisle Street. Just the best cafe amongst a sea of good cafes, of course, in Carlisle Street. But that's our standout favourite. And the team from Las Chicos are helping us with the van by supplying the barista, and they are doing the most incredible job.
The coffee is as good as you will get in Melbourne.
Yeah.
The barista, is that what they're called?
Yeah,
the person who makes
Phillip
the coffee
is our current barista.
He's a champion.
He
does beautiful coffee. I think I've got a new idea. In fact, I'm going to keep the powder dry on that one. I'm going to tell you after the show, because I've got another idea for Las Chicos to get involved with along this theme.
Well, speaking of Las Chicos, again, a shout out and thank you. And viewers, the first 3 viewers to send a message to ideas@garypeer.com.au saying how much you love the graphics on our coffee van, first 3 viewers to do that will get lunch for 2 at Las Chicos. There we are.
You should have said lunch for 3, so then you only have to do one lunch with all 3 of them.
Came on the show and gave stuff away immediately.
There you go, Phil. Giving money away at random to the guests, or to the viewers at least. Let's talk about 786 Grosvenor Street in St Kilda East, Phillip. Limore's going to be selling this one, also on the 10th of October at 10:30 a.m. A beautiful modern block here. This one's going to be quoted $490,000 to $540,000, and the floor plan is absolutely perfect. You walk in.
That one, terrific.
And got the balcony there as well. Spray Street in Elwood, the 1-bedroom tradition continues in Elwood. Phil, tell us a bit about Spray Street.
Look, Jeremy, I'm loving Spray Street, one of the best streets in Elwood, off Ormond Road, just doesn't get any better than that, or near Ormond Road, I beg your pardon, comes off Glen Huntly Road. But that is a really good apartment with a car space, and just get in there and get set for summer.
At the risk, Phil, of veering from this Bayside genre, we're going to go down to Melbourne to Queens Road.
Yes.
Now, I say Bayside, but there is water close by, because this 10th floor apartment has the most spectacular
and the team
views.
at St Kilda are doing a lot of business in Queens Road.
We do quite a bit, and it's one of those parts of Melbourne, there's a lot of apartments, but this is the penultimate.
Yep.
Not a penthouse, but the views. Have a look at those views, Phil.
That view is simply...
You can play golf.
That's to die for. I love the curves of this building, and I love the way it's intermarried with the beautiful classic 1800s style, boom style architecture of the old building.
Phil, you've pulled it all out.
I know. I just hope it was built in the 1800s, because I didn't check that, but looks like it. But what a great building. A
beautiful apartment. That's going to be sold sort of in excess of 800.
Yep.
And the most amazing terrace, almost the same size as the apartment.
Incredible.
It's that big. Hayball Court, Phil.
Yes.
We're going to take it right up the coastline now.
Well, you are the
Brighton.
Bayside man.
How good is Brighton? It's another world, Phil.
I've got to tell you need to speak with a lovely accent when you go to Brighton,
It's
because
delightful,
the
Brighton.
people in Brighton are genteel and, I don't mind saying, quite fabulous to look at.
They are fabulous to look at, and so is the real estate. Number 4 Hayball Court, Phil, is a beautiful home situated at the end of this quiet little cul-de-sac street, off New Street, near the water. I should say, because we're talking about Brighton now. Just around the corner from the Bay Street, that hub of Bay Street, Church Street, not too far away. We're expecting interest at 1314. This is a fabulous townhome.
It is it's a glamorous home, 3 bedrooms, 3 magnificent bathrooms, double lock-up garage. There's everything that you need there and more.
And we shall be there dressed to the nines for all the Brighton people.
As you should be.
Yes. Phil, that pretty much brings a wrap to all of the upcoming auctions. Did you want to say anything about the market? Because I think it's an interesting marketplace that we're heading into spring. Grand final weekend not so far away.
Yep.
Things are starting to heat up, Phil.
We've just come off a weekend, of course, with 17 out of 17. That gave us 100% clearance against an industry average last weekend of 74.
Yes.
The market across Melbourne is still doing well. It's probably not as intensely hot as what it was. So I think it's gone from being intensely hot to just really warm.
Yep.
And I think that this spring is going to be the most amazing spring in Melbourne. More volume, lots of bars, lots of sellers. So bring on October, November, and 3 weekends in December. It'll all be over till 2016.
It is unbelievable. And for those that are thinking about a sale in November, it really is right now that you need to be starting to pick up the phone to call us. And don't be silly, you should also call us about 2016 as well, Phil, because we've got a few on the board already for next year, and it does heat up. Spring is in the air, summer is on the way. St Kilda is a fun and exciting place to be when the sun is in the sky. Thanks for watching.
I'm Phillip Kingston. Have a great month.
I'm Jeremy. See you next time.